Hello everybody. All right, I'm gonna apologize right now. It might be a long video. We are gonna make stovetop sauteed red potatoes. So a little bit of honesty here. I just learned how to make these today, and nobody makes them the same way. So if you watch my video, most likely you're gonna see a way that's not really the same as somebody else. I'm gonna kind of take all the information together, and I'm going to create my own recipe. And if you like it, I'm glad. If you don't, then just there's a lot of other recipes there on YouTube. Now, this is the first time I buy these red potato guys. Normally I make french fries with the regular potatoes, and the regular potatoes are usually I wash them and I put them in the freezer for a while with the water in it. I guess the colder they are, the better when it comes to cooking, but these don't require that. Now, some people, they like to microwave them ahead of time before they saute them, and some people just cook them like that, depending on how many minutes. So I'm gonna kind of maybe do a little bit of both. Now these are washed. We're gonna leave the skin on to give it that flavor, because I hear there's a lot of flavor in the skin. So let's begin. Trusty knife here. We still got our daylight, you know. So we are going to cut these up long ways. So I'm gonna try to cut them in a way where there's still skin attached to them. So we got halfways. I've seen people do it halfways, where they put them all around the pan this way, and then they turn them around. That looks like the most simplest way to do it. Or we can make them into little cubes, but then you really gotta pay attention to them. So we're gonna go ahead and do halfway, see if they fit in the pan. So let's take a look. Got this here. Put them on the microwave safe bowl. Again, go long ways. Cut. We'll see how this goes, okay? Now, this is a pretty big potato, so I might give it a double cut. This one might actually have to be cooked. There we go. And go long ways. There we go. Now, again, it's my first time making it, so you're seeing a unscripted video, just like most of my other videos. They're all unscripted. Hopefully you guys enjoy that. If you don't, let me know as well. Just say, Danny, can you please take more time editing or making your videos more entertaining? Normally mine are just pure information. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm probably have to cut them smaller pieces, but let's see how it looks. Maybe it's too many potatoes. Might need a bigger pan. But we are going to see how it comes out. Take a look. Now, I like using this pan here because it's tougher, you know. Because if I use a flat iron pan, I got a really crappy one. I'm not gonna lie. It's one that's kind of thin. It's actually right here, look. So this one's actually kind of thin. Probably good for pancakes. If not, I would use it for these potatoes, but we're gonna cook the potatoes for maybe like a total of, maybe looking for a total of 20, maybe roughly 20 minutes. And we'll be using our timer. So let's continue. Now, there's like a lot of potatoes. Will it all fit there? That's the question. Because you do want to make it flat on the grill. So we might have a lot of potatoes there. You know what? Let's do this. Let me get a second pan. There we go. Problem solved. 2 pans. So right now we're not doing any protein just yet. This is basically an appetizer for today. So let's do all these chunks over here. Now, these are already pre-washed. So yeah, you should wash them. You know, I'm not sure if they come straight from the dirt. So we are going to do, let's go, cook time, 2 minutes. So while that's happening right there, now we look at we have some tomatoes here. So normally the way we want to cook things is depending on how fast it cooks. So tomatoes are going to go at the end, you know, just to give it a little bit of a tomato taste. Not that many either, just mainly for flavor. So we got that out of the way. We got some tomatoes. These grilled onions are already pre-cut. So now we're gonna have to get a little dish for our onion and our bell pepper. All right, so come here. Let's give this guy a little wash. You can ask yourself, well, Danny, why don't you edit this type of content, the part where you're washing things and, you know, well, because I don't have time. If I gotta edit it, I gotta put it into a different app that makes the video. So basically what I do with these videos, I make the whole video, then you guys watch the whole thing. See how I wash the dishes, use a Sponge Daddy. And then after the video is complete, I take a thumbnail and I straight up upload it to YouTube. Editing is, the only editing there is basically me adding to the description. Now, if this became like a full-time gig and I had to make YouTube videos every single day, yeah, you see me editing, I'd probably hire somebody actually. I don't think I would do the editing myself. I would hire somebody to edit the videos, make them look more presentable, more appealing. But for the time being, we are just playing it by ear, having fun with this, you know? So, now I see people cut onions sometimes, and they cut them in a way that, okay, little backstory here. I used to work at a full-service restaurant, and in that full-service restaurant, they taught me how to prep. So that's why you see me making food sometimes. I'm not actually wasn't a fan of cooking until I met my wife and, you know, my family. I decided, you know what, it's you know, cooking for myself wasn't a big deal, but cooking for others, like, makes a lot more sense. You know, I have fun when it's my turn to cook. So got the onion. So this is how I was taught to cut an onion, because you have all these little skin things around it. You get the corner right here. Okay, you get this corner here. So that's one right there. Okay, in the middle. Hope you guys all see that. So now, peel that skin off from here, here. So this is what you have right here. You have all that shell of an onion. So hopefully you guys all saw that. Hopefully it wasn't too dark. Let's throw this part away. You ask yourself, did I waste an onion? I don't think so, you know. Okay. So we are gonna cut this up in a way where it's not diced, but just enough where you got that C shape of an onion. Also, try that flavor. Now, best way to cut is going to have your fingertips in. Cause let's say I'm not paying attention. Let's say my kids are calling me and I'm cutting here. Look at this. You can see here. Now if I have my hand here and I'm trying to cut, yeah, I'm going to cut my fingers. Maybe I might not cut it off, but I might cut enough of it to where it hurts. But if I'm going to cut here, let's just say I want to cut this. My fingernails, just cut. See? Let's say somebody distracts me. Hey, Dad. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, well, what's going on? I can still push the product. I'm good. So let's toss this in here. So we're going to use it in a little bit. Now, most people, most cooks in the food industry, they like to keep things clean at all times. So some of them will clean as they go. They won't leave a mess everywhere. I personally don't like leaving a mess everywhere when I cook because it's a pet peeve of mine. Okay, we got this here. Now, I'm not an expert on cutting these. I usually cut this part off. You know, the seed part. I'm not sure you're supposed to eat it or not, but I mean, it looks crazy to me. So if you guys eat it, that's cool. If not, you know, to each their own. I just basically cook the skin of the bell pepper, but if it's a good piece, let me know, guys. You know, I'll take your word for it. Yeah, I'm not a big bell pepper person yet, so don't really know. Let's take the heart out. Finisher. Okay, got that out of there. I do have some seeds there, no big deal. It is bell pepper, so got the top part here, little hat, gone. So now, let's cut this up. So how we do it, maybe long ways. So I do that. Again, fingertips go in. Avoid cutting my fingers. Put down the side. Fingertips in. Just crush a little bit. There you go. There we go. If you hear that, that's because there's a bottom part. I'll probably just keep this part right here. So if you hear that, that means the potatoes are done. So we gotta get our pan ready. Okay, cut this up, toss it in here. Now I separate the onions and the bell peppers because they take a bit longer to cook. I think if anything, the onions take a bit longer to cook, so they might go in a little bit sooner than the other vegetables. Here we go. Put that in here. Before you cook, try to have everything ready. I know some people will be like, well, I don't normally cook. It's not a big deal for me. But, you know, it does make it easier. Makes it more fun, actually. So, yeah, I've been looking at various red potato cooking. Didn't find anyone that actually... They're not consistent, you know. Everybody has their own ways. That's basically the way to put it. I saw another guy boil the potatoes. So he boiled it ahead of time. And then he he sauteed it and... grilled it. Well, I do know that everybody does grill it evenly, so that's one thing. Get our cutting board cleaned up. So we get the butter. Bam, challenge. Usually, butter may be a better choice. It's butter, it's the actual fat. Margarine, who knows what to put in that stuff. Get our butter ready. I left it out for a little bit. Lets it melt a little bit. Got our butter going. Let's cut it up from the sides. Boom. In the pan. In the pan. In the pan. Yep, that is the sound of, got 5 little slices. And we got 2 pans. So we want that golden brown going on that, on those potatoes. Now, when I usually cut this, I would put it back in the fridge because I don't use everything. So if you notice, cut from the edges. I do that so I can just fold it back here. Have more on the sides. There you go. Put that away right there. On. It's trash now. All right, we got to turn these on. Let's go high for now. Now we're gonna go high so that the butter can start to melt. You can let this melt on its own. You start to pull out another. I'm gonna pull out this guy right here. Let's get around that pan. Now I'm pretty sure the potatoes are gonna be the one that's cooks the longest, because we're looking at roughly about 20 minutes. The potatoes are screaming at me that they're done. Once you got that butter melted, go. All right. Can you hear that? Now we're gonna lower this down to low because we're gonna be placing things inside of it. But before, we get our trusty avocado oil. A little avocado, there you go. Bring it around. There you go. Bam. Put that away. You can see we're going to be adding some of that garlic salt to it. In my videos, you see a lot of garlic salt. Mix it up a little more. So here comes the fun part, guys. We're going to add the potatoes to our skillets. There we go. It's not too bad, actually. Get your tongs, because you know how hard it's going to be. There you go. Put that on there. So it's going to be a long video. I'm not going to lie to you. Feel free to fast forward. I'll be talking in the middle. I should make it into a live video, guys. That way you guys can talk back next time. Okay, so we got that one right there. All facing down. Come here. Now you can see these are kind of weird here because, you know, we have to cut them. There's a really big potato. Come on. This potato's fighting me. This way. There you go. All right. So this plate's basically done. Okay, we got our potatoes going. So we're gonna raise that up to a half medium, half high. There we go. And they're cooking. So now we are doing 7 minutes. All right, guys, bear with me. It is 7 minutes, I know that. So what else are we gonna do? We'll cook some other side stuff here. So most of you know my channel is not just it's not just cooking videos. So if you know, there's some martial arts from the beginning of this channel started. So we can have a little chat right here about Christianity, martial arts, and so on. Now, martial arts is not a sin itself. The sin usually comes from the idolatry. A lot of martial arts styles, they come with their spiritual side, and they have their own deities, their own beliefs. So obviously, you know, if you're in the Christian faith, idolatry is a big sin. You know, we have a jealous God because, you know, he created us and he wants the worship. The worship goes to him because it was his power that created us. So, you know, as if you're a follower of Christ, you only follow Christ. You don't follow any other way. There is no other way to heaven. So, you know, depending on like the martial arts, if you're following the martial arts, so I'm gonna name a few that might or might not. You know, I'm not calling anybody out, but you know, I mean, a lot of the Asian martial arts, they have their own deities. Any Indian type martial art might have their own deities as well. I say might because, you know, you might encounter a school that all they do is train the physical aspect of martial arts, and that's really what you're looking for. That's why they recommend using training in jiu-jitsu. You know, there's not, I mean, it is Japanese, but you know, a lot of the jiu-jitsu we have here don't follow any particular belief or deity other than, you know, fighting. Now let's take a look at the potatoes. They're cooking. There's no doubt about that. That's the way. I'm not supposed to interrupt them, but I get curious. I want to know what it looks like. They're already golden brown. So I question, am I going too high on the heat? Did I add too much butter? I'm gonna go ahead and drop it down to a little bit of a medium. Just don't wanna, I wanna make sure it cooks because it's gotta cook on the inside too. So let's check how much time we have left. Okay. So we got 4 minutes left basically. Now I am gonna add all this stuff to it as we go along, but not just yet. So we're gonna keep talking. All right. So we're talking about martial arts. So I used to practice martial arts for the past 27 years. The martial arts school that I followed did have their own beliefs, so I no longer go there anymore. Now, a lot of good points. Was it a good martial arts school? Yeah. The martial arts school I trained in was a very, very good martial arts school. In its training, in its philosophy, when it comes to training, in its fighting style, the martial arts style that we followed was of Kung Fu. Had the 5 animals. It had the Lohan system, praying mantis. It had everything that you would need for various fighting styles for multiple opponents. Not only that, our martial art teacher was proficient in not just one martial art, but other martial arts as well. Boxing, karate, Wing Chun, Tai Chi. So, no, our teacher would dedicate himself to learning martial arts very, very well. So he didn't just go to a seminar and say he learned it. Like, he actually spent his years dedicating himself to that martial art. So our fighting style is a lot more different than it comes to other practitioners. There is a lot more variety to it, and I think it became very effective. So yeah, it's a very, very good martial arts school. And those of you who have different beliefs, well, feel free to pursue something like that. But being in the Christian faith, when it comes to worship or who we honor, it's going to be Christ. So just make that clear right there. I probably won't use this one. It's clean already. And again, I get curious. I want to know what these guys look like. They're really, really brown right there. Just, I'm hoping I'm not burning them, Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and turn this for now. I did microwave them, so let's turn these guys. Now they do look kind of burnt to me, but it could just be because of the butter. Now they're flipped. Look at these. These should be a bit more lighter. Maybe because the pan is bigger. All right, so we turn this around. Either way, the taste test will let us know if they came out burnt or not. We're gonna give them a shot. So we're gonna go ahead and come here, clear this out. We're gonna do 6 minutes. Probably move some of these guys over here to this one. Over here. Drop the heat down a bit on this one. You see that smoke, that means that fire alarm might go off at any moment. I really don't want that to happen, but it might. Here I like to move around the avocado oil, move it around a little bit. Gonna move around that butter avocado oil. Why? Because at some point we are gonna add our vegetables. And look at these guys. Just gonna sprinkle them in. Now, when it comes to martial arts, you know, that's just the obvious one. The idolatry is the obvious one. If you're in the Christian faith, you're not going to want to follow any idolatry in any manner, you know. There we go. You can kind of smell the butter on these. Kind of has like a pancake smell. I'm going to turn the AC for now. Let that air circulate a bit. So we're going to find out today how these come out. I mean, I do see some of them in the videos look golden brown. So these look a bit more than golden brown, but we're hoping it's going to come out good. Again, they are red potatoes, so okay, let's see how we are with the time. All right, let's get the bell peppers in there now. We got our garlic salt. Just a bit because we're still going to turn them one more time. All right, so that was martial arts. Now, other types of sin that might come from martial arts is pride. It's only because if you can actually get too addicted to the martial arts. Those of you that have done martial arts before know what I'm talking about. Your normal individual will study martial arts as a form of self-defense. You know, like if your kids are getting bullied or you want them to have some confidence, you want them to get like the aspect of you know, leadership, or you want to get the aspect of confidence, you know, that's fine. But a lot of my fellow martial artists might not agree to this, but they know deep down I'm right, that there is a sense of pride that comes to learning the martial arts to a point where it becomes an addiction, where you start to live your life as a martial artist, where basically the martial arts becomes your god. And as we all know, that pride comes from Lucifer, comes from the devil now. A distraction away from God. So now most martial arts will not like to see that because a lot of the people have devoted their life to the martial arts. Looks pretty good. And they're going to argue that, you know what, it's just a form of, I mean, if you're a UFC fighter, or if you do martial arts and it's kind of like your career, and you're making money from it, that's a different story, you know, because you're making an impact, you're making an income, and if you can devote that skill to God, and that's fine, you know. But some people, like, I don't know if you've heard the old martial arts stories where people devoted their lives to only training. That's all they did. All they wanted to do is get better. They did nothing much with their lives other than practice martial arts. I used to think that was cool. I used to think that was cool back then. But now I realize, you know, that's not what God wants, you know. So, all right. Now I gotta turn these bad boys. No, that was kind of burnt, but oh well, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. So we're gonna do 5 minutes. So we shaved off a minute from each one, so we're looking about maybe 17 minutes. I may want to turn this one, but all right, there we go. Get our garlic salt. Sprinkle that up here. There you go. Because from here, we're not going to turn them. That's basically it. So whatever cooked back here, that's how it's going to stay. So now we're going to add the green onions. There you go. So I think next time I'll probably try boiling them and then cooking them. A lot less time. Or we'll see, it might turn out pretty good. Now this was a pretty long video. We're going on 31 minutes now. I suggest I'd appreciate if you watch the whole video. If you can't, fast forward it, Get to the part where the potatoes are mainly done. We still got the last tomatoes. That will probably be the last bit of it. I'm probably gonna toss it on this pan over here. I'm gonna try these guys out. I'm probably gonna pull out one ahead of time though, because I am curious. Got our plate right here. So back to where I was. So in the martial arts, you can fall into idolatry of actual idols that are being honored, worshipped, and whatever. Or you can end up idolizing yourself, which can actually happen in most sports, not just in the martial arts, but in anything really. I mean, we have a lot of great people that have been musicians, actors, fighters, you name it, painters, and a lot or authors, and a lot of them, they worship themselves. So we don't know where they're at. We don't know if they're with Christ. We don't know if they're not with Christ, and they're somewhere else where we don't want anybody else to be. I'm not going to really name it. I think you guys get the idea. But our main worship, our main honor goes to Christ. Our praise goes to Christ for what he did on the cross. I mean, if anything, you got to take it this way. We were allowed to do all these things here on earth because of God. Now, some of you might disagree, which is fine, but at the end, there really only is one truth out there. It doesn't matter if I put it into better words or somebody else does. The message is going to be the same. So, pretty good right there. I am tempted to take one of these out and try it ahead of time. 1 minute away, so I'm mostly going to do that. I'm going to get one of these guys over here. I'm going to get this guy. It's pretty damaged. Let's give it a shot. Looks hot right there. Tastes good to me. So time's almost up. Let's take a look at it. Golden brown. Now, I'm not a big potato guy, so at the end I'm probably gonna look up if these are actually cooked or not. That's the timer. Might try one of those out, see how it tastes. These are red potatoes. Yep, red potatoes. Let's get these tomatoes here. Dump them all there. Move that around a little bit. Turn this off already. Kind of like what it looks like, how it looks like on this pan. I guess that was a little bit of a Christian talk, and now we're got our food done. Looks like the bell peppers are no more on this one, but we're learning. This one looks better, guys, compared to this one over here. And that was it. Have a good day, everybody.